Greetings and welcome to the Sensory Cigar Lounge. My name is Jeremiah. Now, I believe you called ahead. Yes, and you wanted me to lay out an assortment of some of my favorite cigars. And what I've taken the liberty of is we're going to start on the lighter side, Connecticut shade. We're then going to go darker with our wrappers all the way up to Maduro and hopefully find something that you resonate with. You know, some people ask, well, what is the best cigar? And the answer is that depends on what you enjoy. Sometimes you're in the mood for something lighter, more effervescent. Sometimes you're in the mood for something a little heavier, a little more robust, a little smoother, sweeter, more chocolatey, more leather, more red pepper. Kind of depends on the mood that you're going for. And actually, before we begin, while we do a nice cigar tasting here, if you will, can I get you a beverage of any kind? I happen to have two very good options at the moment. I have some 15-year-old Pappy, and I also have some Boss Hog 10. Now, the difference will be I'll let you smell. The 15-year-old Pappy is, it's going to be more, how to describe, a little spicier. You're still going to have strong accents of vanilla, cinnamon. Boy, that's just a lovely bourbon there. It's going to be a little spicier, but overall, on the 15-year. The Boss Hog, on the other hand, will be stronger notes of vanilla. In fact, as you can smell here, the first note you really get hit is that kind of sweeter vanilla flavor. So, depends on what you're looking for. A little more spice, or a little more sweet. I'd say this is a little more sweet, a little more spice. What do you feel like? A little more spice. Nice choice. Nice choice. Neat. Okay. Yeah, I think for me as well, the Pappy goes particularly well with cigars. So, my friend, once again, welcome, salute, cheers to you. Do enjoy that. Without further ado, let me show you our cigars on display. And we're going to start here on the lighter side with our Connecticut shade, our Nica Libres. It's a very beautiful cigar, followed by the Colonel E.H. Taylor. And then we're going to move to the Diesel. Love these Diesels. They're a wonderful cigar, followed by an Ave Maria, a Latitude Zero, an Alec Bradley Pensado. Another Diesel, this one called the Unholy Cocktail. The wonderful classic Flathead 660 winner of the came in third place in 2015. And a Diesel Wicked Dark Maduro wrapper. And for funsies, I may throw in a little of the Romeo y Julieta as a little cigarillo. Just something for fun. So we're going to start off with the Nica Libre Estopia. Now, this particular cigar is actually named after the cheesecloth that they use to shade the tobacco. You may have heard of something called Connecticut shade. And back in the 70s, they used to literally put a cheesecloth on top of the tobacco to give it a different grow slower and give it a richer, more robust, durable leaf. However, unfortunately, we had an issue with a pest, and most of the Connecticut shade has ended up moving down to Ecuador and Nicaragua. Luckily for you and me, it doesn't actually change. But what you're going to see is a nice light wrapper here. The Connecticut shade, these lighter wrappers, they're going to have a lighter smoke, if you will. A little less, not as full of like leather, not as full of, not quite as robust, if you will, as a Maduro. An easier smoke. Some might say like an introductory cigar. Does not mean this is in any way, shape, or form not a wonderful, wonderful cigar. Go ahead and give that a smell. Isn't that nice? I love the smell of uncut tobacco. So we'll definitely have this listed in your sampler. So without further ado, let's move on. The next cigar I've chosen for you is the Colonel E.H. Taylor. Now again, I'm going to say slightly darker. We're still in the land of Connecticut shade, or a Corojo wrapper. The first one is Nicaraguan. This is from this particular cigar. It's from the Dominican Republic, and it is absolutely delightful. It is from the same area as the Buffalo Trace distillery, so it is kind of designed to be paired with a wonderful bourbon. So, such as something you're sipping would be a delightful pairing for the Colonel E. Taylor. Give that a smell. A bit lighter, isn't it? A bit nuttier. Still a little earthy, but you can tell this is going to be a lighter smoke, if you will, but delightful nonetheless. And next, we're going to go to one of my personal favorites, and this is a newer entrant into the cigar world. And if you haven't tried these yet, Diesel. Now, Diesel is an interesting company. They do a lot of blends. As you can see, this is a slightly darker. Now into a Pennsylvania broadleaf. The fundamental filler, the longleaf, is Nicaraguan tobacco. But with Diesels, and this is their uncut, cigar. The thing about these Diesels, ooh, smell that. What do you first get when you smell that? I get walnut. Yeah, I get leather. Yeah, do you get that leather smell? Yeah. Notes of spice. And the beauty of what I have become so fond of for these Diesels is their draw. I often find I don't need to do a full cut. I can just use a punch. So we have our little cigar punch here. No, this is not an actual bullet. It's a cigar punch. And you simply place this in the bottom of the cigar, press it in, punch it, pull out. And with a little hole in the bottom of your cigar is all you need to have a beautiful, smooth draw. Whereas I found with other manufacturers, even premiums, it can be sticky. They can be not a smooth pull, if you will, which I find rather frustrating. And the other beautiful thing about the Diesel, so for example, the first cigar we looked at, the Nica Libre Estopia, is about $5 a stick, okay? Whereas the Colonel E.H. Taylors run for about $12 a stick. This beauty right here, about $3.50 to $4 per cigar, so much more affordable and almost more of a daily smoker. And now we're gonna move to what I would call more the mid-range. We've been in the Connecticut shade style of wrappers, slightly lighter. Now we're going to go into the Habano. Now the Habano is a more or less a blend, somewhere between Connecticut shade and Maduro. And for that, we have a very special cigar, an Ave Maria. Now, the Ave Maria is one of the highest rated cigars that we carry. It is classically rated as one of the best cigars you can buy. Smell. What's the first note you get out of that? Chocolate. Me too. Unsweetened cocoa. Still the nuttiness, the richness, but now we're getting into a little different territory. You can see the floral notes have changed. A bit more medium-bodied, but again, very smooth draw. These are going to run you about $12 to $15 per cigar, but maybe a bit more of a special occasion. But these are absolutely divine. And next, we're going to stick in the land of Habano. This is a smaller little cigar, and this is a beautiful little square-cut box press called a Latitude Zero. And it is from Nicaragua. And again, this beautiful Habano medium wrapper. And I'm a big fan. I like box pressed cigars for some reason. Some people like it, some people don't. I happen to find it rather charming. And this is beautifully presented, beautifully wrapped. Just a lovely cigar. It's going to be a shorter smoke. The first three we looked at, the full 6-inch cigars are going to tend to be about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, whereas this, 30 to 45 minutes. Oh, give that a smell. What's the first note you get out of that? I almost get rose, something a bit more, in a way, lighter, almost sweeter with this little cigar. It's a beautiful draw. It is it's a rich, lovely cigar for maybe a shorter chat. And that is certainly one of the things that I have grown to love about cigars. And that is the time it actually takes you to enjoy one. And unlike, for example, a cigarette, where, a few minutes, 5 minutes to smoke one, a cigar, you're committing to sit down, ideally with friends and somebody you enjoy their company, family member, oftentimes in my case, with my dad, and to sit down, and you're not going anywhere for at least 45 minutes. You're just going to sit there and hang out and talk to each other. And I will tell you, I've had multiple, some of the most powerful, breakthrough conversations of my life have been during a cigar around a campfire, where we're going to put our phones down and we're going to listen to each other and take our time to be present. And that is something I really, really do enjoy about a good cigar. It kind of stimulates that, hey, we're going to slow down. We're going to slow down and be here for a moment together. Now, the next stick we have, again, shorter, and a lovely little guy called an Alec Pensado. Now, Alec Bradley. The cigar is a Pensado. Alec Bradley is the manufacturer. Now, this little beauty Again, a medium wrapper. This is actually a corojo, which is like a habano. This cigar, this little beauty right here, was the #1 rated cigar. This got 96 points in Cigar Aficionado and was the #1 cigar of 2011. And when you smell it, what do you get? I get notes of nutmeg, notes of leather, perhaps maybe a bit of walnut, or possibly maybe almond, kiss of almond in the background. An absolutely delightful little guy. I mean, it's still a 5-inch cigar. It's not that small. But these are a treat. Now, these typically run around $12.50 to $15 a stick again, so maybe not something that you have quite as often, but it's certainly a treat. And I think every now and then, all of us deserve a little something special, like a prensado by Alec Bradley. Now, next, we're going to go to another fun one. Back to our friends at Diesel. Now, this is a torpedo, torpedo-shaped cigar. So you couldn't do the hole punch with this one. This one you would have to cut off the tip, and you can see that's beautifully wrapped there. Beautifully wrapped, and again, for draw, Diesels are almost unprecedented or unparalleled in their smooth draw. I've never found myself like trying to keep it lit or trying to pull too much. And again, more of an affordable treat. This is called the Unholy Cocktail. It's a blended cigar, kind of like in the land of red wine. You get like a red blend, similar to this. And give that a smell. A little more robust, a little more spice, a little darker leather smell to it, doesn't it? Lovely cigars, though, these. And one thing that's nice about these two is, again, they're about $5 a piece, which means you can enjoy a lovely, fine cigar without breaking the bank too much. And a couple more. I'm just gonna round out your sample pack, if you will. The next one, again, going to these darker, now Maduro wrappers, richer. There's almost a sweetness in them as well, in these darker wrappers. But they do tend to be for lack of a better word, an oilier smoke. Does that make sense? And this classic beauty, the Flathead 660 by CAO. This has been consistently the #1 rated cigar on Cigar Aficionado for many years. It was the #3 cigar of 2015, and 95 points. So it was only 1 point behind our earlier favorite, the Alec Bradley Prensado. This is a bit chunkier. So this is a 60 gauge. The other cigars have been mostly 52s, 54 gauge. That's the ring size, so 60 being thicker. So this is a heavier smoke. Classic Maduro wrapper. And these beauties are something to take your time with. Smell that. It is an upgrade from the diesel. You just looked at. The diesel's $4 or $5 a stick. This is more $9 to $12 a stick. Um, it's going to be a higher quality cigar. And here I get those lighter notes. I almost get a note of a subtle note of sweetness. Do you get that note of sweetness? And these are just absolutely delightful for sitting around the campfire, taking your time. There's no rush. There's no rushing the Flathead 660. It's meant to be slowly and meticulously savored and enjoyed. Certainly be throwing a few of these into your sample pack. And the last one I wanted to throw out and include is it's another one by Diesel, but it's the high end. It's called the Diesel Wicked. And this cigar, you can tell. See how dark this is? So this is going to be a very rich, robust, beautiful, sit around the campfire. Ooh. And again, there's something about Diesels. They have mastered these long leaf fillers, excuse me, and they have such an amazing smooth draw. What do you get out of this? What notes do you get? Tiny note of honey. Ooh, nice. Well, I can see that. A little note of honey in there, with kind of the typical with these Maduro wrappers. Yeah, you're gonna get that oilier, heavier smoke, a little sweetness. I like that you noticed honey. It's wonderful. So I'm gonna put these in a special box for you, and thank you very much for coming and spending a little time with me this evening. I truly hope you enjoy the selection I have created for you. And if you have any questions or you'd like to order some for a friend or what have you, don't hesitate to give me a call. Until the next time, my friend, have a wonderful evening. Sweet dreams.